ડોક્ટર વિનોદભાઈ બંસલ, પ્રોબેબલી એ હિન્દી ને ઇંગ્લિશમાં કોમ્બિનેશનમાં હશે. આइए વિનોદજી, ડોક્ટર સાહેબ. Vinodji, okay,
Yeah.
there you are.
Jai Sachidanand, Aapke Putra Deepakanand ji and all Mahatmas.
Hey,
For those of you who are not familiar with me, let me introduce myself briefly. I am Vinod Bansal. I live here in Birmingham, Alabama, in USA. And I'm a physician. I practice internal medicine and emergency medicine. So I came to USA about 28 years ago after finishing my postgraduate studies in India. My wife is also a physician and I have 2 kids. Both of them are kind of settled down now. So to give you a little background, my parents are both in India, and my mother, she, as long as I remember, she does regular puja part and all these kind of things, daan, charity, visiting temples, as part of her regular day-to-day life, which is familiar to most of us in India. My father retired from government service as a senior officer several years ago. He has lived a very disciplined life, both at work and at home. He took Gnan before me. So after I came to USA, my professional life and everything was going well. I mean, academically, I did okay. Started having some arguments leading on to difficult situations sometimes at home. And that led sometimes to unhappy situations lasting for hours and days at times. So I got into reading, trying to get some answers. I started reading a little bit of different spiritual books. My spiritual background before this, I mean, like I said, we used to have regular Akhand, Ramayana part and all those kind of things on special occasions, which I used to participate in. When I had ran into some kind of difficult situations, I would pray to God. My mother would ask me to go to the temple or pray on special occasions, and I did that diligently. But spirituality was not part of my regular day-to-day life or living. But so with this, I read a little bit of Buddhism, read a little bit of Swami Vivekanand. And I don't know if Deepakanandji would remember this, but he had come to the temple in Birmingham at an event which was organized by Haresh Bhai.
Haresh Bhai, yes, I know that.
So, and we talk about Vyavasthit, and I don't understand Vyavasthit very well, but if you look at this, or when I look back at this, every week or every few weeks, we used to get some email or the other from the temple. This Swamiji is coming, that Swamiji is coming, and come. And over the course of my life, I have probably been to 2 or 3 of these events. And at this point, I don't remember that I knew Haresh Bhai, and I don't know what it was, but I went to this event which Deepakanandji was there. Maybe it was because I was reading Vivekananda at that time, and there was probably some reference to Atma and all those kind of things in that email. I don't remember, but I don't know why I went to this event. So we went, and Deepakanandji asked some question, who are you? And I had recently read Vivekanand's. I answered, I am Atma, very proudly, knowingly. And then Deepakanandji asked, what is Atma? And I said, I'm like it's a Atma, as it's all-pervading. I'm like a drop in the ocean, and that is the all-pervading Atma or Paramatma. I didn't know what it was, but basically just the words that I had, I repeated. And I don't remember much else of that satsang. That's probably the only thing I remember. But that started a chain of contact with Harish Bhai. And Harish Bhai had a motel in the same town that my hospital was in. And on my way from the hospital, I would stop by his motel and we would talk about certain things, mostly Gita. He had a set of Swami Chinmayanand video cassettes, about 76 cassettes in all. And I would borrow 2 or 3 cassettes from him, come back, listen to those. He had nice explanation and then commentary. And when I went back, we would have a discussion on that. He would mention something about Dada Bhagwan. I don't remember what the substance of those discussions was at this point. And my own thought at that time was, there are so many gurus and swamis and all these kind of things. So one has to be very careful. I was not really looking for a swami or guru, and but my conviction was that you should be very careful in who you choose as a guru, because if you fall in the wrong, if you go with the wrong guru, then it can cause a lot of problems also. So I used to listen to him with a kind of open mind, but not really going all out for it. At some point, he mentioned that Kanu Dadaji is going to Delhi, so you can ask your father to meet him. So I did, and I told my father about it, that there's Gyani Purush and he's coming to Delhi. So if you'd like to meet him. So my very open. I mean, he's very wide reading. He has read all kinds of philosophy and all these kind of things. If there's some sadhu, sant or somebody coming at home, he would do whatever possible. So he went with an open mind. But later on, he told me that I thought when you told me about Gyani Purush, would be some wise man, and I thought it was always nice to meet a wise man. So after he had met Kanu Dadaji, I asked him, how it was, and he says that if I'm not mistaken, I think he took Gnan at that meeting, when he met him the first time, both him and my mother. So he says, after I met him, I now understand what religion truly means. So when my father said that, it was kind of, I took it almost like an endorsement from him. I was a little more open when Harish Bhai used to talk to me about Dada Bhagwan or Kanu Dadaji. So after a few months, he says, Kanu Dadaji is coming to Oak Ridge. If you want, you can come with me. So, I said, fine, I'll come. It was more with, just to kind of meet him and, see what it is like. So when I reached Oak Ridge, we reached in the evening. And when I reached there was this room full of people. I remember Deepakananji was there. And everybody was seated. Everybody had a rose in their hand. And so they asked me to sit in the front. And they handed me a rose. I did not know what it was about. But they basically said, just so some process was there. Turned out it was Gnan Vidhi. I did not know about it. I did not know that I'm taking Gnan. And in my mind, I thought that, well, I'm taking Gnan, but, they should have told me that, you're coming for Gnan. So there's a little bit of that negative vibration there. But anyway, Gnan Vidhi was over and whatever the process was there. And like I've heard a lot of Mahatmas say that, after Gnan, I had this wonderful experience and all that kind of thing. For me, I mean, it was not really an earth-shattering event. So Gnan was there. I already knew that I'm Atma. I could not tell the difference, I felt different now versus after that there was satsang. I asked some questions and I interacted with different Mahatmas asking questions. And my interactions with Harish Bhai continued. And of course, the satsang was in Gujarati mostly. The questions I asked, of course, are answered in Hindi, but I had trouble following the Gujarati satsang. At that time, there was not a whole lot of Hindi or English literature or satsangs. So that was a handicap. But after a few months, a Mahatma Bharti Ben from California, somehow she got my number and she called me. She must have seen me struggling at the satsang trying to understand Gujarati. So she says, I want to send you a book. These Mahatmas are so wonderful, they are all like, basically they all take you into their homes and, it's just like if they feel like, you feel like they feel that you are one with them and they go all out to help you. So without knowing me, she just calls me, finds my number, calls me, and says, I'm going to send you a book. So after a few days, I get a book in the mail. It's called Aptavani in Hindi. Now, this is not the Aptavani that Aptavani 1, 2, 3 translations that have come later on. This is the original Hindi Aptavani. And the beauty of this is the translation is beautiful. I mean, reading this Aptavani, I got the sense that the questions are being asked, and as if the person answering the questions, Dada Bhagwan, is right there, and he's actually answering the question in that tone and language. So the translation is beautiful. So I read that, and two sections stand out in my mind. And this was actually, I was on the plane flying somewhere, and there was one section on Dhyan. And somebody asked Dada a question, what is Dhyan? And Dada says, you decide to go to Bombay, and after that, Bombay is in your Dhyan. You basically are thinking about Bombay, you're making plans, that is Dhyan. And then, of course, it goes into 4 types of Dhyan, Artha Dhyan, Vata Dhyan, and all those kind of things, and the different gatis. And I was just struck. I said, it's such a simple explanation of Dhyan. And we read about Dhyan, and you try to close your nose, breathe through your mouth, close your mouth, breathe through your nose, stand on your head and do this Dhyan. So nothing like that. It's a simple Dhyan. You have to go to Bombay, and it's in your Dhyan, that is Dhyan. And then the 4 types of Dhyan. And as I read those 4 types of Dhyan, I realized that I'm destined for Naragati. So, and the other thing I realized was that whoever this Dada Bhagwan is, that this is genuinely a truly realized soul. And I need to understand whatever he says. So basically, I tried to, I read the Aptavanis, whatever material would come to me. There were some little books, Bhagavati Bhul and all those kind of things, Hindi. I started trying to understand a little bit of Gujarati written, and in my interactions with Harish Pai and plus trying to understand the satsang, gradually, I started understanding a little Gujarati. Unfortunately, at that time, opportunities for satsang were very limited. Kanu Dadaji used to come here maybe once in 1 or 2 years. Whenever he would come, I would try to see him for at least a few days. Aptaputras used to come, and whenever they came, I tried to meet them for whatever my schedule allowed, not a whole lot. So the opportunities for satsang were limited. Now, there were some Hindi satsangs available from Niruma, and I used to listen to those sometimes, and I downloaded some of those. There were some Aptavani translations, Hindi things available, so I listened to those. And gradually, I started understanding some, but the thing is, there were more questions arising. As answers would come, it would generate more questions. And I just could not keep up with my questions. And but these concepts, Bhagavati Bhul and Athara Mantalo and all those things, these were, especially this Bhagavati Bhul and Huasu Nyay, these concepts were totally new. I had never heard of these, but they made sense. And so whenever certain interactions would happen, these would come in the back of my mind, yes, that's what Dada has said, but in practice, it would not come. Later on down the line, about 3 or 4 years ago, thanks to Rajni Bai, he was having some satsangs with Deepak Anandji online, and he invited me to join those. So I joined those, and I really give credit to Rajni Bai for doing these satsangs so regularly for last 3-4 years. They have been amazing. And the other thing I want to say is about the Aptaputras. Initially, when I met Kanu Dadaji, of course, Aptaputras were not called Swami. We just used to call them Deepak Bhai or whatever it was. And for that, I think partly for that reason, we did not understand their full significance or what truly they are. I mean, we used to ask them questions casually, they would answer, and they would give good answers. But I mean, we didn't really give them the credit and importance that is due to them. Over the course of these last 3 or 4 years, interacting with them in the satsangs, I mean, कहते हैं कि दादा भगवान के प्रति तो अहोभाव हमारा है ही, लेकिन I have an अहोभाव towards all the Aptaputras. They have been so, their development is so high, and their the way they answer these questions, we keep asking a lot of times the same questions over and over again. They never make me feel that, you keep asking the same questions, or that, such a stupid question, and they answer those questions so beautifully, it opens out my understanding. Other than that, I've run into difficult situations many times, and in those difficult situations, I'll close my eyes and pray to Kanu Dada, pray to Dada Bhagwan, and a lot of times those difficult situations have gone away. I still struggle to understand if it's a miracle or if it is something that, if it's a siddhi of Dada Bhagwan or Kanu Dadaji, but those difficult situations have gone away. There have been some instances in which they have not gone away. There was a recent experience I'd like to share. I was sick in May. I was diagnosed with COVID, and basically I was at home, high fever. After a few days, my oxygen level went down. I had to go to the hospital. I was in the hospital for 10 days. And I tried to do Asim Jajakar and all these kind of things, but somehow I think I'm still too much into this worldly things, and I have not yet developed the inclination or taste for that Asim Jajakar that I've heard other Mahatmas say. So I would think every day I should do it, but then it never happened. When I was in the hospital, and I don't remember what day of my hospital stay it was, maybe day 2 or day 3 or whatever. So one day, I basically, at night, I said, Namo Harintam Lavkar, I'm trying to, what is that? Three mantra, several times. And then I prayed to Dada Bhagwan, I prayed to Kanu Dadaji. And then I remembered, the reading somewhere, Dada Bhagwan said कि हम तो रोग के देवता को भी नमस्कार करते हैं. So I did namaskar to रोग के देवता. I said, I want to be well. So whatever this has happened is because of my previous something I've done, and I apologize for this. And I want to get better. I surrender to you. And same thing, surrender to Dada. And then I did Asim Jajakar, and doing that, I just fell asleep after a while. And after, I don't know how many days after that it was, and I don't know if it was because of the medicines I received. I was on a trial actually, so I don't know if I got medicine or if I got placebo. I still don't know that. But after a few days, I started getting better, and ultimately I was discharged, and I'm on my way to recovery now. So scientifically speaking, I mean, I can't say if it was the effect of all those prayers, but I have seen this work a lot of times. In terms of personal conflict situation, previously it used to be that, whenever the arguments are there or conflict is there, inside, the mind will always say that, it will justify that whatever I did was because somebody else did something wrong or somebody else did this to me. And that was a never-ending cycle that I could never get out of. So basically it was just aggravating one person, other person aggravating. So in the course of these satsangs last few years, especially Deepakanandji brought this out very well. And he said that, this जो दुख होता है वो विनोद को होता है, and when that dukh happens to Vinod, there is a abhav that appears towards the other person, and with that abhav, that reaction comes to hurt the other person unknowingly, and in this unknowing state, it's just a to and fro process keeps taking place. And then he said we have to get out of this abhav, and so then I realized that I can see more clearly that who is getting hurt, and whenever that abhav is arising, I can see that I am Shuddhatma, and that abhav is arising. So basically, beware of that and the reaction that arises out of that abhav. So now I am more able to stay out of that vicious circle. As a result, those relationships have started turning around, and so generally, I mean, even though I feel many times that, I'm not, I mean, definitely I'm not there yet, but slowly, as a result of these satsangs and everything else that we have done, and I'm not very regular with my vidhis and all, unfortunately not yet. It is my goal one day to get more regular and do the Purusharth as they've explained to me. But gradually, I think that process is happening inside. I can see it even without realizing it. Slowly, I can see the change. Anger is less, and it reflects in relationships in some ways. So I think it has helped me a lot. I know there is a long way to go. I'm really thankful to the Aptaputras, all the Mahatmas, without whom these satsangs, the questions that all the Mahatmas ask, they make these satsangs so much more meaningful. And Rajni Bai, who has been arranging these satsangs for so long, many times I feel that, I come late to the satsang, but I've never seen the Aptaputras or Rajni Bai get late to these satsangs. I think that's pretty much all I have to say at this time. Thank you so much.
Jai Sachidanand. Thank you, Vinodbhai. એમના અનુભવ પરથી આપણે બે ત્રણ વાત જોવા જેવી છે કે એમને જ્ઞાન કેવી રીતે મળ્યું. લઈ ગયા દર્શન કરવા માટે, હું જાઉં છું ઓકરીજ, ચાલો, અને જ્ઞાન પ્રાપ્ત થયું. હંમેશા જેમ દાદાએ કીધું છે, કશે ને કશે પુણ્ય કામ કરતી હોય છે અને એ સમય કેવી રીતે આવે છે એ ખબર નથી, અને જ્ઞાન થઈ જાય છે અને પાછળથી સત્સંગથી એની સમજણ પડતા એનું સમાધાન થાય છે, એનો ફોડ પડે છે, એનો લાભ મળે છે અને પ્રગતિ થાય છે. મોટામાં મોટી વાત એમને જે રજનીભાઈનો કોન્ટેક્ટ થયો અને જે સત્સંગની ધારા વહી, એમાં જે ક્લેરિફિકેશન ને બધું થયું, અને સૌથી મોટો એક્સપિરિયન્સ એમને આ બીમારીમાં થયો કે જેમાં એમણે દાદાની આ વાત યાદ આવી, એનો ઉપયોગ કર્યો. દાદાએ અગેન કીધું છે કે મારી ચિઠ્ઠી બધે ચાલે છે. એટલે દાદા ભગવાન એ ઇન્ડિવિજ્યુઅલ નથી, પણ એ યશ નામની આખો એક યોગ છે આ કાળના માટે, અને જેના આધારે મહાવીર શાસન દીપી ઉઠ્યું છે. એટલે આપણે તો એ યશ નામ કર્મનો એ યોગને આપણે બેનિફિટ લઈને, જો એમને કીર્તન ભક્તિ ગમતી નહોતી, એટલો ઇન્ટરેસ્ટ આવતો નહોતો, પણ એમને પ્રાર્થના કરી અને એમ કીધું છે કે શુદ્ધાત્મા દ્રષ્ટિએ પ્રાર્થના કરે, શુદ્ધાત્મા દ્રષ્ટિવાળા પ્રાર્થના કરે એ તો બ્રહ્માંડની આર પાર જાય, અને એનો બેનિફિટ એમને મળ્યો જ છે. અને આ તો વસ્તુ કેવી છે કે દાદાનો હાથ પકડ્યો ને એને કેવી રીતે સમાધાન થાય, કેવી રીતે એનો ઉકેલ આવે તે આપણી બુદ્ધિથી સમજાય એવું નથી. અને બેસ્ટ વસ્તુ એમની એ રહી કે એ મહાત્માઓના સંપર્કમાં રહી છે, સત્સંગના ટચમાં રહી છે, એટલે એની પુષ્ટિ મળ્યા જ કરે છે. અને બહુ ઓપનલી એમને કીધું કે હું વિધિને બધું કરતો નથી, પણ આ વિજ્ઞાનથી એમના જીવનમાં જે બધો ફરક પડ્યો, અને ખાસ કરીને એમના પર્સનલ રિલેશનશીપ એટ હોમ અને ફેમિલી એ ગ્રેજ્યુઅલી ઇમ્પ્રૂવ થઈ અને પોઝિટિવલી ઇમ્પ્રૂવ થઈ. જય સચ્ચિદાનંદ. Thank you, Vinodbhai, for your time.
I want to
Yes,
add
please.
one more experience I had, and I'd like to kind of get your input. I was in medical college. I was probably about 20, 21 at the time, and I'd forgotten completely about this incident until about a year or two ago. So, we hear people saying that, Dada ke jo Mahatma hai, all of them have done a lot of sadhana in previous lives and then come to this life and done a lot of punya. And I used to look at myself and, I could not see what punya I might have done or what sadhana I might have done. And then about a year ago, I remembered this incident. I was in med school and probably in my third or fourth year. And one day, I was always interested, with human thoughts, psychology, how these thoughts appear, what are thoughts, and all those kind of things I used to ponder in my mind. And then one day I was thinking of something, or something was, I thought, this thought that is arising in my mind. I said, who is saying this? And then I am seeing it. And then after that, I said, I am seeing this, but then I'm seeing it. I'm seeing this thought. So who is this person that is seeing this thought then? And then it says, then I am seeing this, then who is the one that is seeing this thought? So this chain reaction kind of built up over there. It never ended. And so whenever I would try to study, that same thing would start, thought, and then who is seeing this? And it would continue. After 3 or 4 days this happened, then I said, I had to shut it off. I said, you have exams, you have to study. And then I shut it off. But then later on thinking, some link must have been there in the past where I might have gone into the question of who I am. And that probably popped up. But it was not severe enough where it consumed me. After 3 or 4 days, I was able to turn it off and then go on with my worldly life. So I just wanted to share that. And I don't know what the significance of that is, but I just remembered this a year or two ago.
I believe maybe that was just a flash, and it was good that it just remained as a flash, because maybe you would not have done your medicine. Maybe you would have become a sadhu.
Right.
That was a possibility. But always there is one thing, कहीं न कहीं ये connectivity है ही, और जिसके कारण आपको ये प्राप्त हुआ. And this is your experience. Wonderful. Thank you once again, Vinod bhai.
Yes.
Hey, Sachidanand, Vinod bhai, very good experience. Deepak Anandji, we are running out of time, so 1 minute if you want to share something. Then we do 3 mantra.
Again, it's a very short time.
Okay, that's okay. We'll postpone it. Let's do 3 mantras.
Yeah, that's better. Namo Vitragaya.
Vinod bhai.
Namo Vitragaya.
Namo Arihantanam.
Namo Arihantanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo Vajjayanam.
Namo Vasayanam.
Namo Loe Sava Sahunam.
Namo Loe Sava Sahunam.
Eso Panchanamukaro.
Eso Panchanamukaro.
Savvapavappanasano.
Savvapavappanasano.
Mangalanam cha savesim.
Mangalanam cha savvesim.
Padamam havai mangalam.
Paramam Bhavai Mangalam.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand. Jai
Jai
Satchidanand.
Satchidanand.